including in this game.
Second half of the year, second half of the first Vikings game. This one he waited to the last
half of the
two
second
drives.
half.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? Let's start playing. So, Brewer, are you selling your stock in Green Bay?
I'm not bailing. I mean, they're my NFC pick. I'm sticking with them, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
No base.
I mean, no.
base.
I mean,
No base.
it's going
The
to be
lean
an
back.
uphill
Where's the doorbell
battle.
when you need it?
Just
When
the
you're
lean back.
flirting
Like,
with
I
it.
don't know.
No, look, I keep it real. All right,
Who's in the worst spot?
It
You
is
need
going
a
to
Super
be.
Bowl pick to either be awesome or so bad you can abandon
Yeah, no,
it.
they're not.
Cruz now
right.
just
They're-
in the middle.
I mean,
waiting
I'm
for them to lose.
happy with where. I mean, it's going to be an uphill climb. All right, like I said. And you're absolutely right. J-Lo, he was more J-No than J-Lo yesterday, all right?
correct.
And you're right. Like, look, they've lost to Minnesota 2 times by a combined 4 points. Detroit twice by a combined 13 and lost to Philly by 5. But they were down 20-3 to Minnesota, 28-0 to Minnesota, 17-7 to Detroit, 24-3 to Detroit, and then they make them games. Jordan has, like, I don't know what the deal is. You know, but he was, I thought, look, the defense gave up obviously a lot of yardage to Darnold. But I thought Jordan was the problem, why they just
he had
fell out of the
60
game.
yards into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so it was like, what is he doing? He's just got to start being, like, playing well all 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, look, they got the it's going to be tough to win 3 games on the road against teams that are either better than you or equally as good. But
it's a
you
brutal
know, they're
spot
a
now.
very good team.
I mean,
we'll see.
I appreciate I always expect honesty from you, but you can try to spin it as in these furious comebacks. It's not only that they show you they can play with these guys. There have been stretches of these games where they've thoroughly outplayed those teams. But I just think the position they're in now, where you have 5 losses. They're to the same 3 teams, and you might not. It's not that you're going to have to beat some of those teams. That might be all of the teams you need to beat to go on a run in the playoffs, and it's all going to be on the road. They are still going to be, I think, the youngest team in the playoffs, just like they were last year. So there's real reason for kind of, short to long-term optimism. But I don't know how someone can watch the Packers and be like, yep, right now, round 1 in Philly, no problem. Round 2 would then be if you're the 7th seed, you're guaranteed for round 2 to be either in Detroit or in Minnesota, and then you would see what round 3 would be. So that part is brutal. I do think it is sneaky, really important for them to get the 6th seed. That part, I think, could change things a bit because you get the 6th seed, it might be the Rams, but it also might be Tampa. It's going to be one of those two because that's a different animal because didn't Green Bay already beat the Rams this year? I think that was one of their best wins. I think one of their only wins over a team that's a playoff team was against the Rams.
Look,
so
I think they could beat Philly. I mean, I think they I would go into that game feeling like they got a good chance. Look, is Jalen going to play this week coming up?
No.
I mean, so
whether
he play so he is not a wild card, but he will have been maybe rusty. Mm-hmm. They played him close early in the year. Like I think that, but to Nick's point that he's been making over weeks, to beat 3 of those teams is going to be tough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, also, comparing what happened in week 1 in Brazil for the Green Bay Packers versus Eagles is like there's 0 to take from that game, okay? This is 2 completely different teams. Who the heck cares what happened on, like, September 5th or whenever that game was? But, no, listen, there's no reason to sell stock in Green Bay. I'm not going to act like Jordan Love played this great game, but I'm also not going to put the blame under him either. He was under pressure throughout that whole game. The run game, I mean, they only got 104 yards. They were down at a deficit. Obviously, early on, the defense was able to get after him. I mean, the whole team, the whole Green Bay Packers as a whole, came out completely lackluster. Completely lackluster. They did not have the energy. And I said this in my previous video. I do not agree with how Matt LaFleur approached that game. I mean, I do not think they should have gone for it on 4th down. I think they should have, early on in the game, kick the field goal, get the points, like Tom Brady was like very adamant about. And I 100% agree with him there. And so many of the throws that Matt LaFleur was dialing up for Jordan Love were these just like desperation, big swing throws. And I'm just like, why are you going after all these low percentage opportunities right here? It just didn't make sense to me. It really, really didn't. And then fumbling, Jacobs with the fumble. I think it was Jacobs, right? I mean, like, that's going to devastate you. I mean, that's the opening drive right there like that. I mean, that's brutal. That is brutal. Having the Minnesota Vikings miss a field goal, but then having a penalty, giving them another chance and a closer kick now, and now they make it. I mean, that's just bad ball. That's bad ball. The Green Bay Packers were just straight up outplayed and outprepared. And if they were able to come back and win that game 27-25, if they ended up winning the game 28-27, I'm sorry, but you cannot say that was just an amazing comeback by the Packers. Oh my God, that's how great this team is. You would be like, you were very fortunate that the Vikings were able to, that the Vikings kind of let you back in the game. So this one falls on the Packers. And I think Matt LaFleur more than anything, actually. I mean, you're getting 70 yards out of your, 69 yards out of your main back. Against a top team like the Vikings, that's just not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. I mean, Jordan Love had, 60 passing yards going into the fourth quarter, 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That is tough sledding. That is tough sledding. And again, I know the Packers weren't 100% healthy. And so that matters. But I just didn't like the effort that I saw from the Packers. And so, no, I'm not selling the stock because I don't anticipate that to continue. I don't anticipate that to continue. And I think one of the benefits of being a young team in the playoffs is that you are going to bring the energy. You are going to bring that fight. Because you are going to be so psyched and ready to go. Because you don't have the bitterness or the jadedness of being a veteran where you're like, I've seen this before. Man, we're not that good. Yeah, we're not going to beat Philly, man. I remember back in 2020, man, when I was with the Ravens and like, you don't got that. They got the whole, why not us? Let's go. Remember what we did against the Dallas Cowboys? They said we couldn't do it, and we rocked them. That's what we're going to do to the Eagles, the Lions, the Vikings, the whoever. Like, they're going to have that energy. I mean, think about, when you were real young, you were going on, dates and stuff, first dates, whatever. You had so much excitement. You're like, oh, anything could happen. And then if you've had the unfortunate experience of going on lots of dates, and you didn't fall in love and get married before you turned 27 or whatever, you start to get a little bit jaded. You're like, oh, I got a date. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who knows? She's kind of cool. He's kind of cool. But I don't know. I'll see. Before you were so excited, you had so much, you're like, you have the whole world ahead of you. Now you don't. So that youth helps them big time in the playoffs. They don't care if they're on the road. So what? Who cares? It's awesome beating teams on the road. Silencing that crowd, give me that booze. I love it. Bring it on. Tell me I can't. I don't hear you. I live for that. And young players live for that. Live for that. But they got to clean stuff up, as Jordan Love himself said. They got to understand the moment. They got to understand what's possible. I don't think this game just gets boiled down to Jordan Love has to play better. It's like, well, that was not the problem here. Was it a problem? Sure. But that's not the whole story here. Not even close. Not even close. So, hopefully the Green Bay Packers can kind of get right, refocus. I think they can. It obviously will be brutal playoff stretch. Undeniable. It always was going to be. But quite frankly, it's tough for every team right now. Do you think the Eagles want to face the Packers The Lions and the Vikings. The Lions want to face the Packers, the Eagles, the Vikings. Like, no team wants to face any of these teams. These are tough teams. The Chiefs don't want to face the Ravens. The Bills don't want to face the Bengals. Yeah, I understand, having a couple of these games in a row on the road versus home. Like, I get it. It's all a factor, but it's all brutal. It's all brutal. And the Packers know better than anyone. Home field advantage only matters so much. The Dallas Cowboys, undefeated at home, unstoppable. No one can beat us. Uh-oh. Home field advantage doesn't seem to be this superpower that we thought it was. Quite the opposite. So, you sell your stock, but that's bad business. That's bad business. We are not in a recession. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Green Bay Packers? Are you selling stock? Who do you blame for the loss? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.